Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of This Week in Real Estate, and we'll just get right to it. So this past week, again, been a busy one, basically after Fair Week, if you will. It's playing a lot of catch up and just doing a lot of random different things to basically, like I said, catch up from the week before. So that's where we're at. The market report would be that Delaware County now sees 139 active listings with 194 pending. Both of those are down from last week a little bit. And then Randolph County is as close as you can get without being exactly the same as last week, with 31 active on the market and 36 pending. So basically the same numbers. On to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So a lot of good things this past week, and so we had a couple different closings. One on Riggin Road in Farmington Meadows. It's kind of like a over 55 community, very nice homes back in there. Was able to close one out there, and that one had its own set of challenges basically. So we had been talking about selling this home for a little over a year. They were ready to pull the trigger right when kind of COVID hit, and we were dealing with out-of-state children that were selling it for their mother that's here still local in Muncie, and but the kids needed to get back and take care of a few things, but one was from Arizona, one was from California, with travel restrictions and just kind of the unknowns at that time. That sat on the back burner for about a year, and then finally they were able to kind of make it, and they did great. They stayed up here for a week or two just getting the house in order. Jarrett here handled the auction portion of the personal property, and we ended up with a couple offers, and we chose one. Pretty smooth transaction with Rich Lee at a Remax in Muncie. So very good to get that one settled for them, and everything went pretty well with that one. So closed on another house in Albany that same day last week. Had a listing in Union City that was on the market just for a couple weeks, and ended up getting two offers again at the same time, and got that one pending for Teresa, so that's a good thing. And so we're kind of getting into the inspections portion and all that good stuff. And then also the tail end of last week, there was a house in Indian Village in Muncie, and was able to get that one listed, got the pictures done, inputted the listing, end up having two offers, and we chose one last night. And that one was a rather difficult decision for her to decide on, because I think it was the closest two offers that I've seen in some time. So they had a lot of different things are within an offer, so sometimes it's not all about the bottom dollar at the end of the day. Sometimes it is. But I was really hoping when I heard the second offer was going to come in that it was like, you know, a lot lower or maybe a lot higher or something to make an easy decision. And, you know, after everything boiled down to, you know, sales price and concessions and fees and stuff like that, they were within $200 of each other. And $200 in the grand scheme of around $150 is what we listed it at. It was really a tight decision, and they had similar loan types and basically similar across the board. So that was a tough decision for Kelly, but she made one, and we're kind of just at the very beginning process, obviously, of that one. So that was good for her. We have scheduled two photo shoots, one for this week and one for next week. A couple listings in Parker and Farmland, and so Jeff Riggins will be taking care of me there. So that was good to get those kind of in order, and so a couple new listings coming up here in a week or two. On to the bad. So nothing. Well, okay, there's one kind of really bad story, but we'll get to that in a second. The other kind of bad is, you know, with multiple offers, people are not able to purchase homes. Sometimes they get frustrated and things like that. But on the other side of things, rentals are extremely hard to find as well. So a lot of people, they're just not in that position to purchase right now. They do call us and say, do you know any rentals? And we try to hook them up with some local landlords and things like that. but it's just tough. I mean, being a landlord now, I haven't seen really anybody other than maybe a sign in the yard for a day. They really don't even have to advertise. Word of mouth gets their units or their homes rented, and so it's a tough rental game out there too. So it's kind of basically across the board kind of tough right now to get into a place. The really bad story would be a past client was sifting through his mail one day and gets a notification that his taxes hadn't been paid for the last 2.5 years or something like that. The funny thing is that his taxes and insurance are escrowed into his monthly payment. So big oops by somebody other than them that the county shows that they have not been paying taxes. And so after many phone calls and discussions and things like that, it boils down to the mortgage company has made a rather large error. And then the county, I'm not sure kind of what's going on with them and what, I don't know what responsibility they have, because those payments were being made and applied to a separate parcel that was not theirs. And so you figure some kind of checks and balances on both sides would have caught that. But then obviously the really frustrating part was this was the first notice to this homeowner that something was wrong, and it says your property's going up for tax sale in September. So a lot of things that broke down, a lot of things that went wrong. In the end, I think everything will be okay for them, but getting through this non-communication between the county and the mortgage holder, mortgage company, things like that, has been obviously very taxing on them, and super frustrating for everybody involved. So I really don't know how to have a moral of that story. I mean, you trust that your mortgage company is going to pay those bills as they come in, and again, why it should take 2 years for the county to say, hey, you're not paying your taxes. It was just a massive failure across the board. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I think everything's going to be fine. At the end of the day, it's just just a lot of emotions, a lot of frustration. So that's a really bad story. So that's the bad for the week. So the ugly, I guess you could roll that into that too, because that's pretty ugly. I'm sure some of those conversations got pretty ugly when people weren't kind of finding out what was wrong. But so nothing other than that, nothing ugly. Enjoying this weather out. It's been nice and cool in the mornings, not too hot, although it's supposed to be getting a little bit warmer coming up. So on to the awesome segment of Cooking Corner with Curtis. So a lot of, again, random stuff, try to mix it up usually on a weekly basis. I snuck some zucchini into our pancakes the other morning. Obviously they noticed, but without a overwhelming flavor of zucchini, they were able to eat that just fine, especially with syrup and peanut butter and all that good stuff. Made some biscuits from scratch last night for our sausage gravy this morning. Really enjoy the convenience of the biscuits in a can, let me tell you. But then wanted to try something a little different. And this was a recipe from one of Paula Deen's cookbooks. It's actually a compilation cookbook. And the different thing with these is, you make either what are called baking soda biscuits or baking powder biscuits or whatever. But this one's a little bit different as it has yeast in it, but it doesn't really proof. It's just gives it that kind of yeast flavor. There's really no rise involved or anything like that. So it's just like any other biscuit that you would make. So you have your flour and your other things in there, and you cut in the butter or the Crisco or whatever, and you add your milk. That's about it. But this one, again, has kind of a yeast mixture to it. So it has a little bit of different flavor, and I'm all about bread and carbs, love my carbs, and so I kind of have the best of both worlds, kind of almost like a leavened bread, but not really, in a biscuit form. It's good. It was awesome. The other night we had a cookout, kind of just with the kids. They were eating hot dogs and stuff, and I was not feeling the hot dogs that night, and so what I did was I got a piece of cast iron out and outside on the fire, was able to break open a package of brats that I got from the Amish store up in Geneva, which is awesome because they literally have at least 3 cases. When I say cases, think of refrigerator freezer cases, you know, huge. So 3 cases, that would be 6 sides, all of custom brats that they make there. So I really, not normally a brat guy, but this one, I tried a few and I didn't like a couple of them, threw some out, whatever. And this one I said, let's give her a try. And so did that in cast iron with peppers and onions, and it was awesome. So that's the one brat that I found, and it's just as simple. It just says hickory smoked brat. That's all it is. So it's awesome. Speaking of smoking, got something on the smoker right now for this evening. It's just what cut was it? It was a pork. It was just basically a pork roast. We had processed it ourselves, so it wasn't kind of the butt, it wasn't the steak, we just labeled it pork roast, so we'll find out. Really simple rub on that one, just salt, pepper, a little bit of sugar, not a whole lot of other stuff because you can get really involved with that. But real simple rub, and put it on some pecan or pecan, however you want to say it, chips for that smoke to get in there, and it's going to be awesome. So we're going to have that, and I'm assuming some garden vegetables and stuff, since those are hot and heavy right now with corn and zucchini, and our tomatoes are coming on, so I don't know, may make something with those. So I'm happy just thinking about that going home tonight. So and one more thing with the cooking thing, Abram is our cheeseburger guru, and so that's basically what he eats when he goes out. We made burgers the other night and he said, Dad, I want a big burger. So darn it, I made him a big burger. I should have weighed it. I'm not sure what it would have been, but I'll throw a picture up here. But that bun, I don't know, you know, it wasn't the smallest of buns, and obviously the burger was all the way around it. So he got through it, he finished it, so good for him. Coming up, so I got a few inspection responses to get through on both sides, the seller or a buyer side, and so we're kind of working our way through that. The kids are still at their vegetable stand, and if we're not home, it's still out there. It's kind of an honor stand. If somebody wants to drive by, there's a, you know, everything's still out there with a little bit of money and a Tupperware, I think, if somebody wants to stop by. Lydia made some zucchini breads, and they're like the little mini loaves, and so those are out there as well. On a personal note, coming up, we're going to try to go kayaking on Friday, so that'll be fun down in Brookville. We have a church picnic coming up on Sunday, and then on Wednesday going to the state fair, because on the free stage is the band For King and For Country. Now they've changed their name a few times, so I may have gotten that wrong. For King and Country, whatever. Here's their picture. Those two guys. So always a good time there. We've seen them a few times, once there and a couple times elsewhere, so that's always fun. And then actually our last time seeing them was right before they started shutting everything down in 2020. So good to get back there and see them. And then on a work note coming up, I've gotten a few separate actually conversations going with people just in neighborhoods in general that says, hey, can you check out either the neighbor's house, the one down the street, you know, the yard's not being mowed, we've heard this, we've heard that they whatever, and yeah, that's something we can do for you. And so I've sent a few messages, sent out a few pieces of mail of, hey, I have people inquiring about your house, and your neighborhood is a popular neighborhood, you know, not sure what's going on, but if we need to talk and maybe talk about selling that, you know, here's my number and stuff like that. And you know, some people, they're like, no, we're not going to sell it, but you can kind of tell, or maybe they tell me, look, we're just, you know, we're not working right now, we have this financial issue or something like that. Well, there are things that we can help out there as well. So it doesn't mean that you have to sell the house. If anybody has any questions about kind of we're in a spot and we don't know what to do, you know, reach out. We got some ideas. We deal with this stuff on a daily basis. So don't be afraid. Don't feel ashamed if something's happened and you need to have that conversation. Just go ahead and reach out and we'll have a conversation and see where it goes. So, hey, extra long video today. Lots of stuff. Appreciate you tuning in, taking some time, and hopefully, you know, he's found some value, maybe some entertainment value, maybe some recipe ideas. I don't know. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.